Some families have said it is like losing their loved ones all over again. Many have been desperately searching for information since the news broke that workers at Burr Oak Cemetery allegedly removed bodies from graves to resell the plots. Police have found piles of broken headstones and even bones. This morning, defense attorney Thomas Glasgow is here to help us understand the legal aspect of this really massive investigation. Good morning, Thomas. Nice to have you here. This is obviously going to be a long process.
Absolutely. With the remains and the FBI that has come in to determine the remains and who they are and where they were, it presents a real problem. And it presents a real problem because these 200 to 300 bodies were left in an open air area in order to rot. And they were taken from their markers where they were before, where they were cataloged and we knew who was where, and put in a place where we didn't know who was what, who was where, what casket belonged to what family. And it presents a real problem because the cataloging was changed intentionally in order to resell these plots.
This is one of those stories, the more we learn, the more disturbing, it becomes. Let's talk about the people who are accused in this case, a cemetery manager and 3 employees. What kind of charges are we talking about?
Right now they're charged with dismembering a human body, which is a Class X felony. There's no possibility of probation. It is 6 to 30 in the penitentiary if they're convicted and sentenced. Right now that is what they're charged with. They've got a $250,000 bond for the person who was the clerk, who was the mastermind in charge of changing all the plots in order to get them from point A to point B, and the other 3 had a $200,000 bond each.
Now, as far as the families are concerned, some families have already, we've heard, filed lawsuits.
Yes.
Are these civil lawsuits?
They are. There are several grounds that they're going on. Intentional infliction of emotional distress, saying that taking someone's relative and putting it into an open air area is more than any person should be able to bear. You've got things like breach of contract, consumer fraud and deceptive practices, etc., along with a whole host of other civil claims in order to both certify a class as a class action and end up getting some kind of civil reward from Perpetua, the owner of Burr Oak, in order for them to end up getting some kind of award for the wrongdoing and not supervising their employees.
Now, in the meantime, there's still so many families who are lost as to just what to do right now. If you were advising them, what would you say?
Right now, everything's been closed off. It's a crime scene. You can still contact the sheriff's office, I believe, through their email site. They are answering. They've received thousands and thousands of emails, thousands of phone calls. But if they truly believe that one of their loved ones is part of this, then contact the sheriff through the email department or through the email that's been posted, and go ahead and they will return the email. They will get in contact with you. They've been very good about getting in contact with everyone who's made a claim.
You got to start that process.
Absolutely.
All right, Thomas, thank you so much for coming in this morning. You can get the very latest information about the cemetery investigation and several sources of help for families. You can find that all on our website at abc7chicago.com.